Assalamu alaikum to everyone and a very good afternoon to all. Welcome to today's webinar on getting started with volunteering in IEEE organized by IEEE BUBT student branch. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Nazneen Rakhi, student of the Department of CSE BUBT and Vice Chair of IEEE PACE BUBT SP Chapter, Joint General Secretary of IEEE BUBT Women in Engineering Student Branch Affinity Group. IEEE is built on the strength of its members and their volunteer efforts throughout the organization. Most IEEE programs require member involvement to facilitate the planning and execution of projects, events, etc. Volunteering not only benefits IEEE as an organization, but is also one of the key benefits available to members. In today's ceremony, I am welcoming the Honorable Speaker Indumati Gunasekaran and introducing her to all of us. Introduction of Speaker. Ms. Indumati Gunasekaran is an Associate Software Engineer at Accenture India. She holds her Bachelor's in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Panimaral Institute of Technology, Chennai, India. She is currently serving in the roles of Chairperson of IEEE PELS Students Activities Committee, co-chair of IEEE ESIST 12 Special Track, member of PELS Women in Engineering, founding chair of Nuclear and Plasma Science Society, and IEEE Brand Ambassador. She served as the section lead of IEEE Extreme 14.0, Publicity and Promotions lead of IEEE Y International Leadership Summit 2020, Student Chapter Ambassador of Power and Energy Society, Chairperson of Computer Society Chapter of IEEE Panimaral Institute of Technology Student Branch, and Vice Chairperson of IEEE PIT Student Branch. Indumati was previously the IEEE Student Branch Secretary and Chairperson of Women in Engineering Affinity Group of the Student Branch. Today we have some of our respected teachers with us here. I am welcoming Samsuddin Ahmed Sir, Advisor IEEE IAS BUBT Student Branch Chapter, and requesting him to say something about today's event.
Thank you, Nazneen Nahar. I think this is a great initiative, and I appreciate the students of BUBT, IEEE BUBT student section for their frequent arrangement of such activities. They are doing excellent job, and I think they will get great insights from the speakers today. And I wish you all the best. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable speech. Now I'd like to welcome Indumati Gunasekaran and request her to start her demonstration.
Thank you, Nazneen, for the very long introduction. It's actually a very long introduction. Thank you for the sweet introduction as well. And I would also like to thank BUBT Student Branch for providing me this opportunity. Today, I'll take you through the various volunteering opportunities that are there in IEEE and how you can get started with as an IEEE volunteer. I'll share my screen, and anyone here, please confirm if you could see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Thank you for the confirmation. So my introduction is already over. I'm covering a little part of it. I'm working as an associate software engineer for Accenture India, and I did my bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering, and lots others are covered in the introduction by Naznim itself. So this is the agenda for today's meeting. What I thought in the sense, before telling you how you could get started with volunteering in IEEE, I thought of introducing you to few of the opportunities that are there available in IEEE for its members so that it would be clear for you in choosing your volunteering path. So I thought of starting from the very basics, like what IEEE is. Let us go from this. May I know how many members here are IEEE members? If you are an IEEE member, put S in the chat box. If you are not an IEEE member, put no in the chat box. Yes, 3 yes, 2 no's, 3 yes, 3 no. Okay, it is a mixture, like it seems, okay. Many no's, few yes. Okay, it seems like we have a mixture of IEEE and non-IEEE members in this gathering. So it's okay. I'll tell you first what IEEE is. It is a global community of engineers, scientists, industrials, and research professionals with over 419,000 members in 160 countries. So IEEE is a global community and it is one of the trusted voices for engineers, I would say. And okay, enough. Okay, so in IEEE, we have different technical societies. There are totally 46 technical societies in IEEE, along with few technical councils. And or to those who said yes, to those who said that you are an IEEE member, may I know in which society you are a member of, which society you are a part of. You can type your society name. Those who said that you are an IEEE member, have you taken only the IEEE membership without taking society membership? Anything like that? I see no responses. Sir, is it like, are you not aware of OPES, IAS, IES, PELS? I think it is the joint chapter, Signal Processing Society, Power Energy Society. Okay, so in IEEE, apart from this PES, IAS, IES, PELS, Computer Society, apart from this, we have several technical societies. And in total, we have 46 technical societies in IEEE. I'm stressing on it. I'll tell you the importance of why I'm stressing on this 46 technical societies. You will get to know about it in the future slides. And also, we have lots of communities. Okay, thank you for your response. Okay, Sensor Council, nice. Okay, so yeah, we have some technical councils also, like Sensor Council, like Internet of Things Council. There are lots other technical councils also, and we have 46 societies in total. I'll tell you why it is important to explore all these societies at least a bit before getting the society membership. You will get to know in the upcoming slides. And in IEEE, we have e-learning library. Is anyone here aware of e-learning library? Or is anyone here have taken any courses from e-learning library, being an IEEE member? Yes. Oh, 1 is, I got 1 is. It's really nice. When I ask this question to lots of student branches, I get several no. At least I here got 1 is. Introduction to Sustainability, really great. Okay, so in IEEE, we have e-learning library for the IEEE members to upskill themselves. And this e-learning library is not only for this particular membership, that particular membership. It is not like that. It is open to members from variety of memberships, starting from student members to young professionals, research scholars, industrialists, faculty members. It is for everyone. For every membership grade, you will find curated courses according to your membership. You can always search for the courses that you want to learn. Like at this moment, whatever the technology that you could think of in your mind, the courses, there are courses in e-learning library related to all these technologies that you could think of at this second. And this e-learning library is a web-based learning model. You can access either through your mobile or through your website, and it is completely self-paced. No one is going to push you to complete the course with any deadline. You can learn it at your ease. And the benefits of taking this IEEE e-learning library is that all the course materials that you find in this e-learning library are of high quality, peer-reviewed course materials. In the sense, once a course material is created, before publishing it in the website, it would be reviewed by another peer. And once it is approved only, it will be getting uploaded in the website. So IEEE ensures that all the courses that are there in e-learning library are of high quality for its IEEE members. And the benefit of being an IEEE member is that this e-learning library is not only limited to IEEE members. Anybody who is interested in taking up courses from IEEE can enroll for this. But the benefit of being an IEEE member is that you will get discounts on the courses. There will be a huge difference, course fee difference between the members and the non-members. So members get courses at a discounted rate. And in this e-learning courses, there are lots of interactive tools embedded to make your learning interesting without any boring. And after completing any particular course, you will earn IEEE printed digital e-certificates. And as I've already said, the topics in this e-learning library span around a wide array of technology. Whatever the technology that you could think of at this moment, right at this moment, courses are available on all the technologies. And in IEEE, we have a mentorship program. Has anyone taken up mentorship program in IEEE here? Yes, no? Or is anyone here aware of IEEE mentorship program? To the IEEE members, I'm asking. Are you aware of IEEE mentorship program? Or have you applied for mentorship program? Have you taken any mentorship program? IEEE SB SNIT chair. Okay, you haven't applied, but you know about the mentorship program. And I got another no, saying that not aware. Any yes or any no, any further yes or any no. Let us make it as an interactive session. Come on, interact with me through this chat box. Let this not be one way of sharing. No, no. Okay, lots of no. People, like many people here are saying no. Not only you people, there are several IEEE members who will answer no for this mentorship program because they are not aware that there is some particular program like this in IEEE. There is some particular program like mentorship program that IEEE is offering. It is due to the lack of awareness, so no problem. IEEE has this mentorship program, and this is the URL for this mentorship program. You can find at the bottom of the slide. And the purpose of this mentorship program is that a person can volunteer himself or herself to be a mentor and give mentorship program to any IEEE volunteers. So only IEEE members are eligible for this. You can apply for being a mentor or for being a mentee, and depending on the inputs that you are going to give in your application, depending on the inputs like your technical interest, what you want to teach about, what you want to learn about, depending on all these inputs, you will be matched with appropriate mentor or appropriate mentee. And depending on the availability of the mentor, the mentee would be told how long this mentorship program is going to be, whether 3 months, 6 months, or 8 months, anything it might be, depending on the mentorship that the mentor is going to give, and depending on the availability of that mentor, the time span of this mentorship program will vary widely. And during this time, you can get mentorship from your mentor at free of cost. This is not any paid program. This is completely a voluntary effort. Nobody is again going to push you to be a mentor. Nobody will push you to apply for this. It's completely voluntary. And IEEE TV. Have anyone seen videos that are telecasted in IEEE TV? Again, yes or no. Lots of my questions are going to be an yes or no question, so you can participate in this. Have anybody seen the videos that are telecasted in the IEEE TV? Or have any IEEE members at least heard about there is something called IEEE TV? Have you at least heard this word IEEE TV? Oh, no, yes. Okay, this is a mixture of yes and no response. I'm happy that I'm getting few yeses here. So it is an award-winning internet-based television network The purpose of this IEEE TV is that lots of IEEE organizing committees, lots of like your SB is organizing this program, like that lots of SBs, lots of sections, lots of regions across the world would be organizing variety of programs under IEEE. The programs may be conferences, they may be symposiums, they may be webinars like this, they may be seminars, workshops, student development program, faculty development program. There are variety of programs organized under IEEE by lots of organizing units across the world. And if the organizing unit is interested in recording the program, they would record it. And if they are interested, they would upload it in the IEEE TV so that it is available to all the IEEE members. So this is the URL for IEEE TV, ieeetv.ieee.org. If you go to this, you can search for any topic that you want to learn again. You can search for any topic that is organized by an organizing unit in America, that is organized by an organizing unit in Africa. It can be from any part of the world. You can utilize those contents. As an IEEE member, you can consume those contents freely. So yeah, utilize it. Not only this IEEE TV telecast technical topics, IEEE TV also telecast lots of leadership related topics, lots of soft skill related topics are also available. Even keynotes from the IEEE president are also available in the IEEE TV. So when you get time, go to this URL and see whether the content that could be consumed by you is there in that TV or not, and utilize that opportunity. Being an IEEE member, you should utilize the membership to the most. And IEEE conferences, again, another yes or no question for you people. Have you attended any IEEE conferences before? Have you attended? Yes, no. IEEE SPS BUBT student branch chapter is saying no. Why? Are there any IEEE SPS BUBT student branch haven't organized any conferences under SPS, under Signal Processing Society? No. Okay. No, you people haven't attended conferences. Okay. To those who said yes, to those who said that you have attended IEEE conferences, have you at any time got chance to volunteer for the IEEE conference? Oh, new chapter, SPS is new chapter. Okay. Congratulations for its growth in the future. And to those who said that you have attended IEEE conferences, have you volunteered for any of the conferences? Not only the conferences that you have organized, but for any conferences organized in any part of the country. Have you got a chance to volunteer for that conference? Yes or no? Naushin is saying yes. Okay. So for others who are not answering, should I consider your answer as no? Okay, no problem. So Naushin, are you interested in sharing about your experiences in 4 or 5 lines? Like in what part of the committee you volunteered for and what was your volunteering experience? Are you willing to share it? You can unmute yourself and talk. Naushin? Okay. Naushin isn't willing, I think so. I'll ask you by the end of this session also. So if you are willing, you can share about your volunteering experience. I'm asking this because others can learn something from you. That's why. Because many said that they didn't volunteer for any kind of conferences. Maybe something they can learn from you. That's why I asked. No problem. So these IEEE conferences are the great ways to meet like-minded people from industry as well as academia. To those who have attended IEEE conferences would have experienced it. Like in lots of IEEE conferences have a separate session called networking session, where all the conference attendees would be gathered under a single roof. All the conference attendees from different part of the world, from different regions in IEEE would be gathered under a single roof, and they will be given an opportunity to interact with each other. Whenever you are given an opportunity to interact with other people, please do interact. That's how you grow, that's how you learn. If you keep silent, if you lots of for yes or no question itself, many are not willing to participate. If you keep silent like this, then you are degrading your growth. So always, like, when you get the opportunity to express something, express yourself there, present yourself there. So yeah, in this IEEE conferences, you will get the networking opportunity to meet new people. You can hear about their interests, you can hear where they are from, what they are doing, what how they are technically strong at, what is their technical area of interest. You can learn all these things. Yeah, I'll come. IEEE SB is an IT chair, I'll come. Okay, so you can hear about all these things from the fellow attendees, and if any of their technical interest or non-technical interest is matching with that of yours, you can connect with them personally. You can work together, volunteer together, grow together. So that's how you meet new people. That's how you grow your network. Okay, I'll have a separate slide telling you how to network and why networking is important in your life. And coming to IEEE SB SNIT Chair's response, currently you are volunteering as an ambassador for IEEE Extreme 15.0. It is really a great opportunity. IEEE Extreme is a global level programming competition, and if you are an SB ambassador, only one ambassador will be selected per SB. So it is really a great opportunity. You have, out of all those who applied, your application got selected, and congratulations for it. So to those who said that you haven't volunteered for anything like this, try exploring next time. When you hear about IEEE Extreme, ask your fellow volunteers when the call for volunteering will be open, and you apply for it. Once you apply, only you will be knowing where you are lagging, how can you improve yourself. And IEEE Entrepreneurship and Startup Aids. Have anyone here is a part of IEEE Entrepreneurship community? Or at least went to IEEE Entrepreneurship community's website and explored something given there? Have anyone did it? No. So okay, let me ask this easy question. Are there any aspiring entrepreneurs here? Is anybody here is wanting to become an entrepreneur in the future? No. Okay. I got one ace. Nazmul Hassan has answered ace. So anybody else who want to become an entrepreneur in the future, it is completely your personal interest. You can either say yes or no. It's your interest. It's your willingness to take up the risk and grow. Okay. So if you are an aspiring entrepreneur and if you have IEEE membership in your hand, I would highly recommend you to go through this website, the website of IEEE Entrepreneurship Community. IEEE Entrepreneurship Community is the community of entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. Here you have lots of people who have succeeded in their startup. There are lots of people who are earning in 6 figures out of their startup. So yeah, this community has those kind of people. Also, this community has aspiring entrepreneurs. So if you are someone who could fit yourself into these category, you can be a part of IEEE Entrepreneurship Community. It is not paid like any IEEE Technical Society. You need not to pay anything for this. If you have IEEE membership, if you have active IEEE membership, you can go join the entrepreneurship community through this URL that I have given here. And this entrepreneurship community also has lots of virtual contents curated for the entrepreneurs. It is not like the IEEE e-learning library that I have told you, but it is completely different. The contents are curated for entrepreneurs. And here also you have mentor office hours, which works in the same way as that of mentorship program, but this mentorship is only for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. And also this entrepreneurship community conducts regular pitching events, pitching competitions. You can participate, win prizes. And if you are having some kind of business idea which could leverage the community through the technology that you are applying, you can apply for fundings and grants through this entrepreneurship community. Example, I would say one thing: if you are regularly exploring about IEEE newsletters or something like that, you would have heard that lots of few of the student communities from, I think so, from Africa and some from India, many have built affordable PPE kits, and many have built affordable face masks, kind of things that could be used during this COVID time. And they have built a model, they have built a single model out of applying their ideas, and they have applied for grants and funding to improve their model, to implement their model in a larger scale. So if you have some ideas like that which could benefit the community, which could benefit the humanity, then you could apply for funds and grantings for your startup, and you would be getting it. And networking, like I said, I have a separate slide for networking. Any IEEE volunteer, if you ask to any IEEE volunteer what they like in IEEE, many of them's answer would be the networking opportunity that they get in IEEE. Through this networking opportunity, you can connect with volunteer, you can connect with another volunteer who is from a completely different background as that of yours, who is from a completely different country, different continent, different region as that of yours. You can maybe the person in your network may play a vital role for your professional growth as well. Maybe it can happen, it sometimes happens. So be very cautious about your network. Networking doesn't mean like just finding friends on LinkedIn, finding friends on any social media, getting and talking to someone that you know and inviting them to your contact list. Networking is not that. Networking is completely different. Networking means you can think of, like, you can see a picture here, I think so, here, right? So consider you in the middle, and all those who are around you are your networks. So your network, like, the outside of this is the circle, that is your life circle or your networking circle, and you should be very cautious about whom you are inviting inside your circle. They play a very vital role in your growth. They should be happy about your growth. They should not be someone who degrade you. They should not be someone who demotivate you. They should not be someone who pull your leg. So be very, very cautious about the network. First, analyze the people and think how they can be helpful to you. Think how you can be helpful to them, and then invite them to your network. In that way, your network would be very strong. Your network defines your net worth. So remember this line and build your network. Student scholarships, fellowships, and travel programs in IEEE. Is there anyone here who has achieved any scholarships or fellowships, or who has got any award or travel grants from IEEE? Any scholarship winners, fellowship winners, or award winners here? Yes, no. Any scholarship winners? Should I consider this silent as no? No. Lots of no. Okay. So, yeah. If your answer is no, and if you are an IEEE member, it is high time that you go explore the scholarships, fellowships, travel grants, and awards that IEEE is offering and apply for it. IEEE scholarships and awards, it is very specific to the technical community. In the beginning, I would have stressed you about the technical community. Each technical community in IEEE has its own scholarship, its own fellowship, and its own award. So, and the eligibility criteria also varies depending on the purpose of that scholarship or awards. So, if you are a member of any particular society, go to that society's official website and explore what are the scholarships, fellowships, travel grants, and award program that particular technical society is offering, and apply for it. If you are eligible, apply for it. Use your IEEE membership. That's what I would say. Like, you can utilize your IEEE membership in that way for your growth. And these are some of the awards that I bagged. The first one is scholarships and awards. First one is from IEEE Computer Society. This is Richard E. Mervyn Scholarship, and this one got featured in the official Computer Society website. And this one is again offered by IEEE Computer Society, and it is Upsilon Pi Epsilon Scholarship. And this one is IEEE WIE Inspiring Student Member for the year 2020. It is offered by IEEE Women in Engineering Affinity Group. So like this, there are different technical societies and different affinity groups offering its own award and scholarship. Go through that particular society's membership and apply for it. The reason I'm telling all this is that volunteers are to be recognized. IEEE believes that volunteers are to be recognized. So once you set up your volunteering path after few years, a few months of volunteering, if you feel yourself that you are eligible for any particular award or scholarship, just apply for it right away. And now coming to the main part of the discussion today, volunteering. Before telling you how you could set your volunteering journey, how you could open your volunteering journey in IEEE, let me tell you how volunteering could help you, how volunteering for IEEE could help you in your professional and your personal growth. So volunteering provides you an opportunity to connect with your profession. Even like the one who has organized this particular program, this particular webinar, he might be like from different country, and many of the attendees would be from different countries. So this is the chance for you to interact, to connect with people from different student branches, from different sections, from different countries. So it provides you an opportunity to connect with others, to build your network. And also volunteering gives you an opportunity to contribute for your community. It gives you an opportunity to give back to the community, and it helps you expand your network, and it helps you to improve yourself as an engineer. Let me tell you now how you could set up your volunteering path. First of all, before volunteering for any community, before not only in IEEE, any community, identify your purpose. Why do you want to volunteer for? What is that you will gain out of volunteering? What is that you want to give back to the community out of volunteering for this? Identify the purpose. Each person's purpose might be different. My purpose of volunteering in IEEE might be different from that of yours, and your purpose of volunteering might be different from that of your friends. It's always good to hear about your fellows' purpose of volunteering for IEEE, so that you will get an idea of choosing your own purpose. Okay. So it may be anything like benefiting your local community, or leveraging the skills in your local community, giving back to the community. It may be anything. You first identify your purpose. Why do you want to volunteer? The reason why I'm stressing on this point a lot is that once you identify your purpose of volunteering only, you will be able to navigate properly in your volunteering journey. I started volunteering without any purpose. There was no one to tell me how to start, how to be getting started with volunteering. I identified it during the course of time. I realized myself that I was volunteering without a purpose, and then I have identified my purpose and navigated according to my purpose. So I do not want any of you here to, to be like me that I was during my initial years. So first of all, identify your purpose. After identifying your purpose, list out your skill sets. What are the skills you have? Maybe a leadership skill, maybe a computer skill, electronic skill, electrical skill, anything. So identify your skill set, list down your skill set, what you are good at, and list down what you want to improve, and identify how you can bridge these two things, how you can apply your skills, volunteer, and improve that you are wanting to improve. For example, I'll tell this, like I can speak very good in a single room where I have no one. Before like 3 or 4 years, I can speak really good, but when some crowd is there, I'll not be able to express my opinion. I'll not be able to speak that very bold. I'll be shivering. I'll be stammering. I'll not be like really good when a crowd is there. So if I want to improve my speaking skills, how can I contribute? How can I volunteer to improve my speaking skills? Then I started giving sessions in my classroom. I started spreading words about IEEE. I started sharing my technical skills. It started inside my classroom, then inside my student branch, then section, then region, then globally. So now I'm able to speak in front of a large crowd. I have achieved what I wanted to achieve. Like that, you specify your skill set, and you determine how you can use your skill set to volunteer for the community, and also determine how through your volunteering you can improve your skill sets, you can groom your skill sets and take it to the next level. And next one is identify the opportunities. Identify what are the opportunities that you have, like be it in any community. For example, when you speak about IEEE, when I asked about IEEE TV, when I asked about IEEE e-learning resources, a lot of you said no. So those are the opportunities that are there in IEEE. Not only you can not only consume content from e-learning library, but you can also post content in e-learning library. If you are really good at any specific technical or non-technical skills, you can prepare a content and post it in the e-learning library. It is a kind of volunteering. It is a kind of giving back to the community. So identify the opportunities. And someone said about IEEE Extreme 15.0. Again, it is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to volunteer. Again, many of you said that you are a member of Power Energy Society. Power Energy Society every year organizes Power Energy Society Day. PES Day is organized. PES Zero Hunger Day is there. PES, like that, several programs are there. Several opportunities are there in that society to give back to the society. So first, identify the opportunities that are underlying. If you are only an IEEE member and if you are not a part of any technical society, identify the opportunities that are there in IEEE. If you are a part of any technical society, say it IAS, say it PEL, say it PES, identify the opportunities in that technical society. Talk to the senior IEEE volunteers in that society. When you speak to them itself, you will get to know lots of opportunities that are there. Identify the opportunities and fit yourself to the best opportunity that you can think would work for you. And always ask for help. Always ask for help. Always have a mentor for you in IEEE. Find a mentor, find a senior volunteer who could guide you in the right path, who could help you in your volunteering path, and get mentorship from them. And after few years of getting mentorship from them, you can pass on your learnings to the to your juniors. Okay, in that way, from a mentee you can grow into a mentor. Always ask for help every now and then when it is necessary for you. And apply. When I asked about awards, when I asked about scholarships, many said no. Like, my question is whether you have got any scholarship, whether you have won any scholarship or awards. You said no. One reason may be you have applied for it and not got selected for that scholarship. Second reason may be you have not at all applied for that scholarship. So not only scholarship, be it any kind of volunteering opportunity, apply. When you get called for volunteers for IEEE Extreme, next time apply. When you get called for volunteers for PES Day, when you get called for volunteers for PES Zero Hunger Day, or anything that might be organized, or when you get called for volunteers for any kind of conferences that is organized by your student branch or your section or your country, apply for it. And don't worry about the rejection. You will get rejected sometimes. Even I got rejected. I have shown you the scholarships and awards that I have won. In that, I have mentioned about 2 of the scholarships that I got. Both the scholarships are global scholarships. Even after winning that scholarship, I applied for a volunteering opportunity and got rejected. Rejections will be there for everyone. Rejections are a way of learning, a way of knowing what is that you are lacking. Sometimes we may be overconfident about your skills. We may be thinking that we are very good at something, but rejections are a way of telling that no, you have to improve. You are not what you are thinking of. You have to improve. So rejections are the way of telling us those things. When you get rejected, don't get demotivated. Even it may be 50 rejections, 60 rejections. Let it be. You apply for the next time. Keep on applying. At one stage, your opportunity will click. You will get into any of the volunteering team, and you will have the chance to volunteer. So apply. And always remember, it is your application that is getting rejected and not you. People can only reject your application, not you. So once your application is rejected, you have a chance for improving your application. Once your application is improved, you as a whole will get improved. So apply for the volunteering opportunity. And yeah, speak to the fellow members in that society. In that way, you will get to know what are the opportunities are there, and they may refer you, like when they get any volunteering opportunity, they may refer you for any positions. And get training. Like in volunteering, we have different teams. Like you can be a part of advertising team, you can be a part of content and documentation team, designing team. As a designing volunteer, you can design posters, flyers, and as a documentation volunteer, you can be an editor in chief for a newsletter, or you can prepare content for the posters and flyers design. And you can be a part of website committee even, and volunteer for designing websites, be it a student runs level or a regional level. So there are different volunteering positions available, and you choose your position, you choose what you are good at. Whether you are good at reaching out to people and promoting a event, whether you are good at designing website, whether you are good at designing posters and flyers, you decide what you are good at. That's why I said you have to identify your skills and knowledge. You decide what you are good at and take training accordingly. Whenever at any point of your volunteering time you feel that you have to be upgraded in this particular domain. For example, I'm volunteering as a website volunteer for 1.5 plus years, and after some 1.5 plus years, if I feel that I have to improve in this domain, then take the training. How can you take the training? Through IEEE itself you can take the training. There are lots of student branches who are organizing training programs. For example, this particular BUBT student branch is organizing this program for volunteers to know that how they can get started with volunteering. There may be certain other student branches who organizes designing workshop, web development workshop, content writing workshop. So you participate in those workshops. These kind of workshops or webinars or seminars would be completely free for IEEE members many of the times. So utilize those opportunities, get training, upskill yourself. And the last one is commitment. Commitment is very important. Like you should be knowing whether you will be able to give your fullest for any volunteering opportunity that you are taking. There are several volunteers who take every opportunity that comes into their hand. Like they may be having 5 to 6 positions at a time. Like at any particular point of time, they would be volunteering for 5 to 6 positions or multiple positions. It is like taking too much of thing into your head. Don't do that. Never do that. Always remember, one at a time. Whenever you are applying for any volunteering opportunity, or whenever someone is approaching you to volunteer for anything, remember, one at a time. Whether you are already volunteering for anything, or you are able, or will you be able to give your time for the new opportunity that is approaching you. Answer yourself to this question and choose the opportunity very wisely. Do not take multiple opportunities into your pocket. And if you are already volunteering for something, and if somebody is again coming and approaching you for any new position, always be kind enough to pass on that opportunity to any volunteer who is seeking for that opportunity. Many people don't do that. Many people take okay, you are approaching me for this position, okay, I'll do it, and they used to take everything. Sometimes it is good to say no for some opportunities, and sometimes it is very good to pass on that opportunity to another volunteer who is willing to volunteer for that. Be very sure of your commitment. We are volunteers and we can volunteer only during our free time. So you should also be considering your academic commitments, your personal commitments, and then choose your volunteering opportunity accordingly. Because only if you choose one position at a time, only if you are volunteering for one position at a time, you will be able to give your best to that position, and also you will be able to learn a lot out of volunteering for that position. Else you cannot concentrate on too many things, and you will be missing out the learnings that you have in each and every position. So choose the opportunity very wisely and be sure of your commitment before choosing any position. And yeah, we are in the end of the presentation. Here, I would like to share a short story of how I contributed to the community. It is not always that someone has to offer you the opportunity to volunteer. Are you agreeing with my statement? Do you always need someone to offer you the position to volunteer? Guys, slept. Yes. My question will be an yes or no question only. You can answer very leisurely. Yes or no. Whatever that you are feeling is right enough, you answer accordingly. No. Few said yes. Few are saying that you want someone to give you the volunteering opportunity. What I mean by this question is that do you always need someone to create the volunteering opportunity for you? For example, IEEE Extreme 15.0, you may be serving as a section ambassador or a student ambassador. Someone created that position for you. Someone created a position called IEEE student branch ambassador. Someone created a position called section ambassador, and they called for volunteer. Like this, do you always need someone to create an opportunity for you? That's my question. Yes or no? Now say yes or no. Yes, we need someone to create position. Some are saying yes, some are confidently saying no even then. Okay. Kudos to all those who said no for this question. We do not need always someone to create some volunteering opportunity for us. We can participate if available, but we should also create volunteering opportunities. Exactly. May I know your name? IEEE SP SNIT share. Arun. Arun, right? Okay, Arun. Okay. So, let me tell you a very simple example out of this webinar itself. IEEE BUBT student branch is organizing this webinar. Okay, they no, they haven't waited for the section to create this opportunity. They haven't waited for their region to create this opportunity. The student branch decided, the student branch opened positions for other volunteers, and they created position for other volunteers. It is always someone creating position for someone to volunteer for that community. And I'm going to share you my story of how I created a global level volunteering opportunity for the people in and around my community. Okay, I'm currently serving as the chairperson of IEEE Power Electronics Society Student Activities Committee. So this is a global level position. It's up to SBs and SBCs to create new opportunities. Yes, also it is up to individuals to create new opportunities. Even any individual can take initiative to create volunteering opportunities for others, and in that way they can bring volunteers into one roof and contribute to that community. And my story is something similar to that. So yeah, I did my bachelor's. If you have heard about my introduction, my introduction would have read like I have did my bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering. Yeah, but now I'm working for a software industry. And this is not only my case. 90% of the students in my country, whether they are from electrical background, mechanical background, electronics background, or any kind of background it might be, after graduating they move to software industry. Do you know the reason why? Like, they take up hardware related course during their bachelor's. 90, I'm speaking about 90% of the students, majority of the students, they take up hardware related courses during their bachelor's, but they move to a software industry for working. Do you know why? Any idea of why is this happening? Majority of jobs are related to software industry. Interesting answer. Any other answer? Okay, like we have only 10 minutes, I'll make it quick. It could be right that majority of the jobs are related to software, not only work from home. Work from home has happened very recently in the year 2020. But this transformation from a hardware student to working in a software industry is happening for 10 to 15 years or more than that. So the reason is that I would say lack of awareness. Jobs are there in hardware industry. There are high paying jobs. There are really equal paying jobs compared to software industry. There are certain jobs. There are these kind of jobs available in hardware industry also. The reason why the students are preferring to software industry is, first thing is lack of awareness. Second thing is they are not eligible for any job position in hardware industry because they would not have gained the required skills needed for any job position in an hardware industry. During their 4 years of bachelor's life, they wouldn't have gained that enough skills, enough engineering skills to work in a hardware industry. All these, there may be n number of reasons. All these reasons can be put under one shell called lack of awareness. Nobody has told them to learn this hardware skill to get placed in this hardware industry. People might be coming to tell you, learn C programming, learn Java, learn Python, learn machine learning, learn artificial intelligence. Is there someone who came and told you learn PSpice, learn MATLAB, learn about electrical vehicles? Very few. Because of the lack of awareness, I felt like being an electronics and communication engineering student, this thought really worried me. We are spending our 4 years of our lifetime studying about hardware related concepts, but ending up in a software industry. This thought really worried about me, and I started thinking of why is this happening? Not only in India, but in several countries like India. It's happening in and around India. In lots of countries, the situation is same. I started thinking on it. Then I came to a realization that lack of awareness, and students are not having anyone to tell them what are the hardware related skills that they should be learning during their student period, so that they can upskill themselves and apply jobs in hardware industry. So I thought of this. Then I thought, like, I'm a part of IEEE, and there is something in IEEE called a Power Electronics Society. How can I utilize my membership? How can I help my community with the help of IEEE? I thought of this. Then I approached a few of the global members in Power Electronics Society. I approached the chairperson of Women in Engineering Society, Women in Engineering affinity group in Power Electronics Society. Then I also approached the then chairperson of Power Electronics Student Activities Committee, talked to them about this situation. Then I gave them an idea of why don't we organize a symposium specifically for electronics and electrical students. Why don't we organize a symposium? In this symposium, why don't we call people who are successful in a hardware industry, and why don't we call people who are successful in the research field of electrical and electronics related field. So we started with this plan. We organized a symposium, first ever symposium. The symposium that I organized is IEEE Power Electronics Students and Young Professional Symposium. You could search for it. When you type for PELS, SYPS, you would get that symposium website. So that is the first ever symposium organized in the history of Power Electronics Society itself. We got that has attracted a large number of student community, and we got really good feedback. Some 95% of the feedback were positive, and they were really happy about us. They are really happy for us helping in them to explore the opportunities that are there in the hardware field. It was a 3-day global symposium organized, and through the symposium, we are able to open up volunteering opportunity for 50 plus Power Electronics members across the globe. So this is some initiative that I have taken to contribute to the community. I have identified my purpose of volunteering. I have identified what the problem is, and then I have decided on how could I solve this problem. What did I achieve out of solving this problem? I was able to give back to the community. I was able to open the eyes of students and researchers. I was able to create volunteering opportunity. And internally, the Power Electronics membership has grown. Lots of members have renewed their Power Electronics membership, and lots of members have newly joined Power Electronics membership. And there are lots of outcomes that we have achieved out of this. So in this way, this is one of my stories. I have many stories to tell like this, but we have only 5 minutes left. So like this, you always need not to wait for others to create your volunteering opportunity. You can also be a source of opening up volunteering opportunity for others, and you can bring, changes in others' lives through this way. So utilize your IEEE membership to the maximum, and start volunteering. Remember these steps that I have told you before volunteering. If you are a new volunteer, these steps would definitely help you. Remember these steps, and happy volunteering. If you have any questions for me, you can put it in the chat box. I'm always ready to take your questions. Thank you.
Nasrin Akhtar have a question. She said, I studied Department of Women and Gender Studies. How this webinar helped me?
Okay, Women and Gender Studies, Department of Women and Gender Studies. We have Women in Engineering Affinity Group. You would have women and young girls in your community who might be facing certain problems like getting education, going to higher schools, or gaining new skills, computer skills, or anything. They might be facing problems for all these things. You can join Women in Engineering Affinity Group, and in Women in Engineering Affinity Group we have the STAR program, like Student Teacher Research Program. So through this program you can reach out to young girls and women in your community. You can help them, you can volunteer this way, share your knowledge with them, and this is one such thing that you can do. I'll give you the link for STAR program. You can go and explore it. Any questions? Any questions you would want to ask me regarding volunteering or anything in IEEE? Hello, Mohammed.
Hi, I'm Mahmoud, a student of physics from Chittagong University. As you said about the IEEE and the volunteering, okay, as we see in our in our country that IEEE is so far for as a student of physics, but is it that much helpful in volunteering related to the IEEE?
You're from Department of what you say? Can you come again?
I'm from Department of Physics.
Physics.
Yes.
Okay. So if you are from Department of Physics, like I said, we have different technical societies in IEEE. You can find out which technical society's vision and mission is matching that of what you have studied during in your bachelor's, what you are studying in your bachelor's. You can find which society's vision and mission is matching, get that society's membership, get into it, once you get into it, you will, once you get into the volunteers of that society, you will automatically get an idea of how you can contribute in that particular society. Like in physics, also we have lots to do with to give back to the community. You can apply lots of physical laws and create something out of it, invent something out of it, and benefit humanity. So for all these things, you can utilize IEEE membership. And in IEEE we have, if you want to consume any contents, any research based contents, we have this IEEE e-learning library. And yeah, through this you can refer to the books also that you want, if you want to create something, or if you want to apply your physical knowledge to benefit the humanity, you can refer to these kind of sources, these kind of learning sources that are there in IEEE, available free for IEEE members. So this can help you to improve you as an engineer. I hope I have answered your question, Mohammed. Is there any age limit to join Women in Engineering affinity group to work as a volunteer? One thing I would want to correct in this question is that volunteers don't work. Volunteers volunteer. We volunteer. We don't work. Okay, we don't get paid for what we are doing. Volunteers don't get paid not because they are worthless, because they are priceless. And there is no any age limit, not only for Women in Engineering affinity group, but for any technical societies. But for IEEE membership as a whole, there is no age limitation. There are several membership grades, starting from the student member. Once after you finish your college studies, once after you get graduated, you get promoted to young professionals and you serve as a young professional for few years. After that, you get promoted to senior members. Like that, there are several membership grades, and after that, at last you will become life member. So even if you are in your 80 years, 90 years, you can become IEEE member. There is no any age limit.
I'm very thankful for your suggestions. I have some audio issues here. That's why I'm not
No
getting
problem.
connected. Okay.
No problem.
I'm very okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Or you can also reach out to me personally through my LinkedIn or through my Instagram. I'm always available in Instagram. I'll share you my link. For any kind of knowledge that you want from me regarding IEEE or any technical society or regarding any volunteering opportunity, you can reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me. This is my Instagram ID and I'm always available in Instagram to help you. Any other questions from anyone?
I think question part is ended. Thank you, Indumati Gumasekaran, for your valuable presentation. We hope your presentation will be helpful in the future.
No, I'm not in Facebook.
Now I would request Shahriar Alam to present the crest of appreciation.
This is beautiful. Thank you so much. Thanks to the organizing team. Beautiful.
Now I would like to ask IEEE BUBT SB Vice Chair Syeda Naushun Ibnat to say something about how was today's event.
Okay, hello everyone. At first, I would like to thank our speaker, Indumathi. It was a very interactive session. We get to learn a lot of new things from you. And thanks to all the audience for attending. We are willing to do more of this type of events in future. So thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
sir.
I once again thank the organizing team and BUPT SP for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences with you all. Thank you so much. Can we have a group photo?
IEEE মেম্বার যারা আছেন তারা একটু ক্যামেরাটা অন করি আমরা।
Thank you once again to all the honorable guests, faculty members, and students for your cooperations. That is a must for all time. It's been a pleasure being with all of you today, and again, thank you all for your patience. I wish you all a very good afternoon. Stay safe and stay well. And this is the ending moment of today's event. We will now take group photos, so everyone turn on the camera.
IEEE মেম্বার সহ যারা আছেন প্লিজ ক্যামেরাটা অন করেন।
The one who is taking the photo can go with 1, 2, 3.
ওকে, আমাদের সেকশনে যারা আছেন তারা মাস্ট বি ক্যামেরাটা অন করেন। We will wait 30 seconds, please. Okay, we are taking the picture. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you all of.
Thank you, everyone.